Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Anything Liverpool. I'm here tonight, joined by Tom and Rob, to discuss the latest developments around Liverpool Football Club, and obviously the newest development and the biggest thing that we can talk about right now is the game that's going to take place in about an hour at Anfield. Liverpool are going to welcome Bournemouth for the start of a new Premier League season. The Reds, obviously the champions and the future champions, if I may add, are going to start our campaign off tonight. We're going to get into talk about score predictions, talk about a team, discuss anything that's worth discussing. But until then, Tom, how are you tonight?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Excited to be on.
Good to see you. Rob, how about you, mate?
Man, I'm absolutely thrilled. Like, delighted to be on. Delighted to be given this chance. And listen, get to talk about Liverpool is one of my favorite things to do. So I can't wait.
Quite nice, isn't it, to have a community of passionate Reds to discuss our favorite club. And obviously, so start of the Premier League, yes, and here's our newest addition to the live stream. Hassan, how are you, mate?
I'm fine. How are you, man?
All good, all good. Good to have you on. So if you're over on X, please, or Twitter, I don't know why I called it X, to be honest. Make sure to come over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, comment, let us know your thoughts. We'd love to have your comments and integrate them in these conversations that we're having. So before, let's just get into it, I guess. Tom, it's been I dare say a bit of an underwhelming performance in the Community Shield a few days ago. I think overall, I wouldn't say it's been as bad as people made it out to be, but outside of the first 30 minutes and maybe 10 minutes, first 10 minutes in the second half, it's been a bit lackluster. And we haven't really created a lot of chances, even though we now have a lot of new additions, especially in the attack. Any sort of was that any sort of an indication of what may go on tonight for you?
Yeah, so the first thing that I noticed against Crystal Palace is that we really were missing Ryan Gravenberch in that midfield. The way that he just controls the transitions from back to front, we really did miss that. You know, Curtis Jones, he plays in all of the midfield positions, centre defensive mid, number 8 and 10 role. But yeah, we certainly did miss him. I do think that with Bournemouth, although they are missing a few players tonight, I think we've just seen that Kluivert's not playing. They are a very high pressing team. But I think we'll get it over the line tonight because I've had a look at their back line. They've had a lot of players go. As we know, we've got Kirkes, and there's a lot of players in that team or squad that haven't got a lot of Premier League experience. So I'm going to go with a Liverpool win tonight, pretty convincing.
Sorry, fair enough. Yeah, Rob, how about you? We do have team news, and McAllister is apparently ready to start. Gravenberg obviously still suspended for tonight, but we do have Maka back. We've seen, as Tom said, I think we've seen, we've kind of noticed how important Maka and Gravenberg both are for us, especially when they're not playing. I think I would have been fine with Jones tonight either way, but obviously good to have Maka back. So your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I thought the midfield actually ran really well last week. You know, Jones completed all of his passes, like he didn't do anything wrong. My concerns last week were actually with I found Munoz got down Kirkes' side far too easy. He was constantly bombing up and down that side. And then obviously there was a couple of mistakes from Verge, but that happens, you know. Sloppiness can creep in just towards the end, but yeah, I think Maka back obviously is great. Maka is one of the best midfielders in the league, so having him back to control the game will be good, and he will, if he needs to make that tackle, that, you know, if it gets him a yellow, he doesn't really mind because he's doing it for the better of the team.
Indeed, Hassan, we avoided the curse from the Community Shield, so I'm guessing that's the silver lining. So that's just proof that we're gonna win the league anyways. But so your thoughts on the Palace game and maybe how that translates to tonight?
Yeah, first of all, it's rather unusual that we are having a stream, and it's time to be excited. whenever we are on a stream, it's something bad has already happened. So
So
it's
for
exciting.
context, yeah, because I just want to, for context, me and Hassan and Willem, I think, was on at that time as well. We had to stream on a Friday, and that morning we were on for the stream. Everything was going fine, and then I see a lot of notifications on my phone, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And I go on Facebook, and I see a video of Jurgen Klopp sitting in front of the camera, and I'm thinking, "What's going on?" And basically, we're learning that Jurgen Klopp's going to leave the club, and any other subject we've had on that evening just was thrown out the window, and we were ending up discussing the our favorite memories with Jurgen. But yeah, so that's that. You can go on.
Yeah, so today is a lot to be excited about, and I think normally whenever the season starts, there are some apprehensions, and this is the season after a long, long time that I think we can go for all of the trophies available. Just one center back more to come in, and a striker of his quality will be cherry on top. I think, as you guys already mentioned, that Gravenberg is a big miss in this midfield. Apart from him, I think we will be all right. And as Tom said, that there's a big change in the defense of Bournemouth, so I think that that will affect them. And it's the first game at Anfield, the crowd behind us. I think it will be a lot for Bournemouth, and hopefully we can show them that we are the reigning champions.
Indeed, Tom. If we were to choose a side, honestly, Bournemouth isn't really a bad place to start, especially with all the players that they've lost this summer. Obviously, they've lost Kirkish, they've lost the Barney. Cleverts, as he said, is not going to play. Hausen, obviously, at the beginning of the summer, went to Madrid. So it does seem like a good time to play them. Regarding, I'm going to touch on what Rob said a bit earlier as well. So we've seen in the Community Shield that basically the tactical decision outside of possession was to drag Cody Hackball on the left to kind of track back a bit more, turning that into a back five rather, and having Kirkish play as a center back. Do you think on the long run, tonight, or maybe especially against tougher teams, is that still the tactic to go with? Because it seemed like whenever Munoz was a bit forward, you could see that he was in a lot of moments he was one on one against Cody Hackball.
Yeah, so I definitely think that we use that kind of in defensiveness, the five back system for, like you said, Gakpo to Mark Munoz. I think that's just to match their system. I don't expect Liverpool to go with that again tonight, especially with us being at home. I think that Bournemouth are there for the taking tonight, and that's not to discredit them, because Iraola is a fantastic manager and he's a very good tactician. So no matter what players he's got, you kind of know the system that they're going to play. I'm just happy that, first of all, we're at home. We're opening the Premier League season. Obviously, we've got the tribute towards Jota, and fair play, shout out to the Bournemouth fans, because they're bringing their own, I think, like tifo or something for Jota before the match. So fair play to them as well. Very good fans there. But yeah, I don't think that we are going to play the same system where Gakpo will track back. I think we're going to go for the kill. You know, we've seen Liverpool over the years go blitzing it at the first half an hour of the game, and then they can kind of just take control then, which is something that Slot's really brought into Liverpool. You know, at times we'd see Klopp go 2-3-0 up, and he would still go gung-ho. He'd still keep going, right, we want 4-5. But I think that's the kind of tactical change that we've seen with Slot now. He's happy to go in front by 2-3 goals and then control the game, which is why we see someone like McAllister in the six perhaps tonight, as well as Dominic Szoboszlai.
Yeah, and I think even before going to 3 goals up, I think even at times we score once and then it's almost like we numb the game for like 10, 15 minutes, just passing it, just slowing it down, and then going on a blitz again before halftime. I think that was, I think we've seen that for quite a few times, especially last season as well. So, Rob, you kind of touched on the, let's say, frailties in defense against Palace. With Bournemouth, with all the players they've lost, I'm feeling extremely confident tonight. How about you?
Oh, I can't wait. I genuinely like watching Wirtz and Ekatike link up. Like, you know, despite playing for separate clubs last season, they seem to have like that kind of a perfect kind of know each other bond. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm hoping tonight that we see a bit more of Salah. Salah was very quiet last weekend, which is very unusual for him. It's not something we associate with him. I think at one point the commentators had said he'd only had 6 touches, and I was like, man, Salah's normally always on the ball. He's always the driving force. But I am excited. I think Wirtz and XDK will be very well. They'll play well tonight.
Yeah, Mo Salah better be a bit more active because I have him captain in my FPL side, and I'm not going. He's not. He better not blank for me in this first match. I've actually gone full Liverpool attack. I've gone Wirtz and Ekitike as well. A bit of let's say um, a risk, but yeah, we'll see. And yeah, obviously, as you said, Rob, I think during especially those like first 15 minutes against Palace, both Wirtz and Ekitike, you could just see the silkiness on them both. Their link up play, it's like everything that we've seen in Ekitike's numbers that would maybe make him a Bobby Firmino 2.0 of sorts. We've already seen the signs inside of his first game. So that I was watching that community shield and I was just going, that just makes me so excited for the future. I mean, having both of these players play for us. Hassan, as I said, I'm feeling extremely confident. And I'm expecting all of our new signings to look really good again tonight. Maybe with a bit more consistency though this time, because obviously against Palace, we've seen that we've kind of slowed out to the point where it kind of became lackluster rather than controlled.
Yeah, I think Crystal Palace was the first exposure to these guys to English football. I think for them now it was a wake up call and a curtain raiser to the Premier League. I think now they can focus and play to their best of abilities, and I think crowd will carry them on at Wembley. It's a big stadium, and I think Ekatike, when he went off hard attack, looked a bit sluggish. I think he has to play more minutes, and that game also showed that we need at least two strikers, one to start and one who can come in like last season. Even if Diaz was starting, we knew that Chota and Nunes can come up and do the goods. So I think depth is really important. So for us to, we cannot rely on Rio, who's a really young guy. So I think uh, we have few days left in the window to rectify these things.
Yeah, and touching on that a bit, Tom. As I said, I think I've said it last stream as well. We did we had to bring in quite a few players. We knew that it was going to be a busy summer. Maybe we didn't necessarily expect it to this extent, but I think obviously I think at this point we are Premier League favorites, and I think we do have a really good chance to compete in pretty much every competition we're in. But even more so, I think even if we don't win anything this season, which is honestly hard to believe at this point, but even if it does happen, it looks like we now have the depth and the quality and the ages of these players. If you look at Wirtz, Ekitike, McAllister, Soboslai, Kravenberg, Frimpong, Kerkez, every one of them is still young. I still feel like for the next, and honestly, without even exaggerating, for the next 5 years, 5 seasons, I think we have a pretty good chance to compete in pretty much everything.
Yeah, 100%. I think we've been really, really clever in our business. Obviously, signing the new wing backs, Kerkez and Frimpong, very young, very experienced, especially Kerkez in the Premier League already. Mamardashvili, what a signing he is going to be. Obviously, we can't think, we don't want to think as Liverpool fans about Alisson ever leaving, but he will, like everybody does. But what a player that Mamardashvili is to come in and be the understudy just for a season now. So he will be ready, and I think the Liverpool fans will absolutely love him. He's a very big figure in the net. he can come for those crosses as well, and he's already got a lot of experience. In terms of signing more players this summer, obviously we're still linked with Isaac, who's on strike, I believe. Mark Gehi, after watching him, he's a very, very good player on the ball. I know that he's got a few problems with his aerial duels, but I think on the ball, we could see him spraying the ball over. I know that he did a couple over to Munoz, like we said earlier about Gakpo having to try and mark him. So he's a good player on the ball as well, which is kind of what we need with Liverpool. And if you actually think about our business this summer, if you were to sign Gehi as well, you've signed a brand new back four and a goalkeeper all in one window, which is absolutely unheard of because it's been quite some years since we last signed a centre half, isn't it?
Yeah, and obviously we've seen other clubs sign about 10 other center backs to play right back and left back too in Arsenal. So it's good to see us obviously go for someone. I don't know about you, but I'm so excited about Leone. I've watched him quite a bit and last season as well. And I thought he's quality and he has a lot of potential. And to kind of secure him already, it feels like to be honestly, it's just so odd, Rob. All of this summer, every player that I've been excited about ended up signing for Liverpool, and it's just like something that I've never experienced as a Liverpool fan before. And it seems like someone finally, Hughes, I think, just came in and I think he somehow got a hold of John Henry's wallet, and he's not letting it go apparently. So good for us though. So as I said, so many things to be excited, so many players to be excited about. It's looking good.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited about watching Florian Wirtz. I actually have like an ongoing joke now that I actually am dying to see Florian Wirtz play football in real life. I was only chatting to Thomas Brother either today or last night saying that I was a massive Coutinho stan when he was at the club. He kind of got me off my chair. I got excited watching him play. I think Wirtz will be that same Elkov player, like just watching him run at people and make these little uh, passes, and you'd be like, how did he pull that off? Like he'll make it look so easy, but we'll be like, nah, I couldn't do that in a million years. So he's who I'm most excited about watching.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I feel like Wirtz is that player that will end up. I think it's not even a controversial thing to say, but I think he's going to be our KDB. I think he's going to be for us what KDB was for City. Hopefully, with the amount of silverware that he won as well. So yeah, for me, honestly, it's Ekitike. I've raved about him pretty much all summer, and we've actually gotten him. And now, I was actually talking to a few mates who are supporting other teams, and they've all told me that he's overrated. Getting a striker for 90 mil for who barely scores goals is a bad move. I mean. And obviously, inside of first 5 minutes in the Community Shield when he scored, I was spamming that group chat. So yeah, I'm extremely excited for him, to the point where my wife is a bit worried at this point because I've been talking about in my FPL team. I'm talking how he's gonna be the first one I'm gonna get a shirt with. So, but yeah, he's the one for me. Obviously, Wirtz though, silky player. Can't wait to see more of him as well. Hassan, here we are crushing on the men that are playing, that are going to be playing tonight. How about you? Who's your crush in this side?
Yeah, it's easily weird. I think he's the kind of player that even when we were linked with him, I was like, no, he's not the kind of player we will get. He's quality that he would go to Real Madrid, Bayern Munich because of being a German. Uh, I thought maybe when City was linked, maybe they will get him, but this was the most astonishing thing in this window that we got him. I think looking at him and his family, how involved they are. I think they chose the best club for him that he can look as you guys mentioned that Allison won't be here. Likewise, it's Salah that our talisman will be gone in 2 3 windows. So I think he can be our new main guy. so who can keep carrying us forward. And I think the way he was important for Leverkusen, and he was so important for them, and he was like the linchpin, and he ticked them off, and he was the one. I think without him, Alonso could not have carried out what he did at Leverkusen. So him coming in, it's our fullbacks are also uh, with Kirkish. Everybody was saying that he's the best left back at Premier League. He's here. Frimpong is really exciting, and with Bradley with him, I think everything is first time. I think I'm so excited about the season to begin.
Yeah, it's what I've been thinking about as well. It's I think for the first time in a, I think I'm obviously, yeah, I think I'm the most confident I've ever been ahead of a season, and it's something that last night on streaming we're talking. Charlie said we were talking about the predictions for the new season, and Charlie said something along the lines of, for United in the position that they're in, top eight would be a good result, and I was like, I'm so blessed to be in this position right now because for the past 20 years we've had to watch them lot win, trophy after trophy, and now look at us, they're finishing 15th and we're winning leagues, and this is where what we've dreamt of when we were kids. So obviously to get to live it is quite special. So yeah, and yeah, Hassan, I can relate a lot to what you said about Virt. When we were linked to him, I kind of laughed it off, and I thought, no, it's not the type of move that we usually make. And obviously, I think for me, Virt is in that kind of a bracket with players like Musiala, Pedri, that kind of those kind of names. I think especially to be playing with, I think he's played like 50 matches for Germany already, and he's 22.
He's a wonder kid.
Yeah, I mean, to be playing at this level now for constantly for a few seasons when you're only 22 is quite something. I think he knows the game. We've seen the awareness that he has. Just an amazing signing, an amazing player, to be honest, and to get to see him at Anfield play for our side is going to be quite something. Tom, I'm going to ask you for a score prediction. Obviously, I think we are quite excited to watch our new additions, and I think all of us are pretty confident ahead of tonight as well. If you don't want to give me a score, because that's just it's fine. You can also just maybe give me like a player who you're expecting to impress tonight, and maybe someone who's going to be involved, even though like kind of a black horse. Let's say.
I got you. First of all, just going back to you saying about Man United being 15th, fantastic. I know that we got a lot of Man United fans that we're friends with, so hopefully they don't have a great season this season. But yeah, going on to tonight, I originally said 3-0. I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like 3-1. I can just see a couple of fragilities in our back line from a flick on, maybe from a corner. I know that obviously we've got Frimpong, who is a more advanced wing back as well, that we saw he scored against Crystal Palace. I'm just looking at a ball to the back post, maybe someone like Evan Nilsson or Semenyo. We know that Semenyo loves a goal at Anfield, whether it's offside or whether it doesn't, it counts or not. But 3-0, 3-1, 3 points. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Kick the season off to a good start. I'm going to mention your boy Ekitike. I think that he's going to score tonight. I reckon Salah, he's inevitable, isn't he? First game of the season. Salah, you mentioned FPL. I think he's got to be in all of our FPL teams, isn't he? He was a first player on the team sheet, and I think he will score again tonight. So 3-0, 3-1, 3 points. Doesn't matter.
Nice symmetry there. Yeah, that's what we're hoping as well. I'd love to see, obviously, Mo Salah continue his record in opening games. Before we move on, thanks to everyone tuning in. Please make sure if you're over next, come over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, leave your thoughts and your score predictions in the chat as well. I'm going to highlight a few. This one's trash. So we're not gonna talk about that one. Rob, how about you?
I actually think 3-0 as well. I think that Salah will have like a he'll have like a stick, not a stick, but he'll have like a fire under his bum. Salah will want to make up for last weekend. He'll be annoyed at what he didn't do. So I can expect Salah to be doing well in terms of picking up FPL points and obviously scoring for Liverpool. Um, I think Ekatike will score again. I think him and Wirtz will have a connection again. So yeah, I'm going for a 3-0. I know I said about the frailties from last weekend, but I think Slot will probably have gone in and said to them, listen, lads, you can't be doing that again. So I think we'll be a bit more assured tonight and keep a clean sheet.
Yep, fair enough. Hassan, how about you? I do have to say I have this feeling once again that we're gonna see a Nikki TK and Wirtz masterclass. Does that come at the expense of Mo Salah? We'll have to wait and see. How about you? A score prediction for tonight?
Yeah, I think 3-0 or 3-1. Semenyo always plays really good against us, so maybe he'll get one, but uh, we'll score three, and it will be Salah, Ekitike, and Wirtz.
Fair enough then. All right. See, this is the type of attitude that we want here. Even if it's unfortunately, even if it comes from a rival fan, we do have to. At least it's for our FPL teams, right? So, yeah, that's that. I have to say, um, as I said, I think especially attacking wise, I'm curious if is it the bias or is it this stellar attack that Liverpool has that get us so excited? I think there we do have the potential to kind of score a lot. I think it's been said 3-0, 4-1. This is kind of where I'm at as well. I think even if they score, they won't really create any sort of problems. Obviously, it would be great to kind of kill the game off as soon as possible, but and I do think that we have that. We can do that at Anfield, especially. Um, a bit more of a conservative approach here, so we'll take that as well. As Tom said, I think at the end of the day, 3 points and a clean sheet would be nice as well. Even though don't have a Liverpool defender in my team, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll take the 3 points anyways. Obviously, last night we did a few Premier League predictions, but I would like to run it with you as well, lads. I think, as we've kind of discussed already, we are pretty confident ahead of the season, or maybe it's just me, but I've kind of seen the same attitude over to other people as well. I do think that we're favorites to win the league. I don't think it'll be the end of the world if we don't, because we're still in such a good position in future campaigns as well. Tom, is it pretty safe to say that Liverpool are the favorites to win the Premier League this season?
It feels weird to say yes. I kind of like going into the season as the underdogs every year. You just not go under the radar as such, but it's not having that pressure on us. But I would like us to retain the title this time. I know, we stopped Man City getting it, 4 or 5 times in a row. So I think now's our turn. We've seen all the other teams around us invest heavily. I'm going to bring out the word net spend because, Liverpool fans and net spend, we say it every season. We're still spending the Coutinho money. We might have a few pound left. Who knows? But yeah, I'm confident. I reckon that we will come out on top as long as we don't have any large injuries. Please, Virgil, can you please stay fit for the season? Because I know we made a few mistakes, obviously against Palace, as Rob was saying earlier. But he is the colossal player at the back. He sets the tone alongside Alisson. As much as I like Konate, he's not the leader that Van Dijk is, So I would like to see Gehi come in. I would love to see Isaac come in. Although he's a bit of an injury prone, we've seemed to look after our players a bit more with Slot's backroom staff now. I know that before under Klopp, Konate had quite a few groin issues, and he was out sporadically throughout the season, and he seemed to be fine last year. So as long as we can keep the team fit, I think we got enough to go over the line. I think City will finish second. I think that they've made really good recruitment and they'll probably continue to do so. They're linked with Donnarumma now, I believe. And then it'll be Arsenal or Chelsea. I think Arsenal will do okay. I don't think they'll win in the league this year.
I do have them second in my predictions, but Yeah, I think it's just that their defense is going to get them over the line a few more times than the others. I do think City Summer is a bit underrated. I think the talent that they've signed is overlooked. Obviously, I think the best left backs in the league to kind of target were Kirkej and Aid Nuri, and they've gotten one of them. So obviously, Reinders, I don't know if a lot of Premier League fans are familiar with him, but Reinders has been quality at Milan as well. I think he was player of the season last season,
Yeah.
actually. He's really, really good quality. Obviously, not good for him to play deeper as Pep probably wants to do now with Rodri missing, but obviously, we're not going to complain. It is what it is. I think, yeah, touching on what you said, I think it's we did look after our players last season, and I think one thing that I remember Slot saying at the end of the season is that we should have rotated a bit more. So I think if he said that publicly, now we know that he's going to be even more careful with that. So I think, Rob, even if Isaac, I was preparing myself to say Isaac, even if Isaac signs, there is still a conversation to be had, I guess, about depth at center back and maybe at DM again, our favorite topic. I feel like for the past 2 seasons, I think obviously an injury, a long term injury to Gravenberg, to Maka could hurt us big time in midfield, and obviously, as Tom said, Van Dijk as well. Even if Van Dijk's missing, it's not necessarily only about Konate not being the leader. It's also the fact that he's injury prone as well. And Gomez, who's one of the names that could come up, is also fairly injury prone. So, are you excited, confident about us retaining the Premier League title?
I am. I'm 33 now, so like it's amazing to think that I've seen Liverpool now win 2 league titles. Haven't spent the first 30 years of my life seeing them win like obviously other trophies, but not the league. Um, and in the past, I've always kind of been optimistic, but realistic at the same time. Whereas now, it just feels like no, like we have done the right thing. We've won a league and we've backed it up. We won the league a few years ago, and we didn't really sign anyone. And even when we won the Champions League a few years ago, we didn't really sign anyone. We've now won a league. We've gone out and we've signed a wonder kid in Wirtz. We've signed a very exciting player in Ekitike. They've signed 2 fullbacks, and I haven't seen much of Leone. Or I think yeah, it is Leone, the centre half's name. I haven't seen much of him, so I'm not going to pretend I have. But 18, 6'5". I've seen clips of him manhandle Lukaku. Can't think of many, players that have done that over the past. So yeah, I think we've done the right thing. We've strengthened and given ourselves the ability to rotate when needed. So I'm confident that we can retain the title.
Indeed, Hassan, how about you? Do you think Charlie's been extremely confident last night? I think he said we're going to do the double this season, at winning Premier League and the Champions League as well. Do you share that confidence?
Yeah, for me, we can do the treble as well. Why not? Because I think last season and the season before that with Klopp also, uh, we came really close to winning all four, but because of the squad depth and players getting tired, I think last season as well, we were at the final of Carabao Cup. Just at FA Cup, we went out soon, but that was also down to the depth. And in the Champions League, we were the leaders in the group. Unfortunately, we came up against the eventual winners, and I think we were. As much as Arsenal says that we gave them the best game, but it was us because we won against them and just conceded one goal. And in the penalty kicks, we were not good. If we would have knocked them out, Champions League would have been ours also. In my view, so I think this season, I think with Arne, he must have said that I have seen the players. I am this I need these types of players at these positions, and with our backbone intact, with Salah, and the midfield is now experienced enough, and Virgil and Ellison at the back. I think we have really good backbone to and integrate the new players. So I think we can now win the treble or the four
Say
titles.
it, say it, say it. The quad, yeah.
Formidables, huh?
I think Maddie's been I think Maddie's been talking about the quad for like 2 seasons, and it feels like it's actually possible now. Obviously, extremely hard, and a lot of things have to go your way, but might as well. I think in the past few seasons, I've been more of a pessimist, and I feel like I usually put the bad in front of the good. But I think why not live a little? I guess at the end of the day, as Jurgen said, and I think one of the things that kind of stuck with me with what he said is that I think fans really concentrate on the destination and not as much on the journey. And I think if you look at it, obviously last season celebrating the Premier League title was great, but I think what was even greater is Salah's goal against Brighton, Salah's penalty against Southampton, sorry, the City match where we won 2-0, and it feels like at that point we kind of knew that it was actually going to happen. It's like all the little moments throughout the season that kind of make, the make up for pretty much the best of feelings. So there's that. And yeah, Hassan, Arsenal pushed PSG the hardest, haven't they? Like, they always push the other teams. They always they're actually the best one now. Actually, yeah, the PGM well, and then the referees and the injuries and then whatnot. Always something, always an excuse. I've actually seen Arteta say something about how they've won the most points for the last 3 seasons, which is not true, by the way. But obviously, why not? I think
Didn't they complain about the ball at one point last season?
Yeah, against Newcastle in the EFL Cup. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I've loved that when they've played in the league and Newcastle, I think, won against them at St. James's, they started chanting, "It must be the ball."
That's it. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been a great season, obviously, because without I don't know what it is about the fan base, but it's just something. Yeah, especially online, because like I've met Arsenal fans in real life and they sound like I haven't met one proper weird one like those that we see online. But yeah, anyways, it is what it is. Tom, one other dimension about tonight's fixture that I think gives it a bit more importance is also the fact that we do have 2 very tough fixtures afterwards. Obviously, with Newcastle at St. James's, any season you're going there, that fixture is going to be tough. But now it's probably going to be even more so. I think usually we know that they're allowed to play even dirtier than the gray area between obviously what's fair and what's not. I think now they're going to be even more up for it. The crowd as well, the players, and I think obviously afterwards we're playing Arsenal and Anfield, and I think that also gives like the extra importance for tonight because it's almost like we need to get the 3 points and we need to be convincing tonight because the next 2 fixtures are really going to test us. You could argue that's maybe like 3 of the toughest, 2 of the, let's say, 3 toughest fixtures of the season right there.
Yeah, 100%. I think tonight's all about setting the tone. It's definitely achievable. We're expected to win tonight, as you said. So let's go for that 3-0 win, as I was hoping for. Newcastle, I think the word that we can look at is hostile. It's their first game of the season. Their fans are going to be up for it. We know what's happening with Isaac at the moment. Is he coming? Isn't he coming? I've seen a lot of their fans burning shirts, yet having a go at Liverpool fans for the way that we spoke about Trent. But I'll just leave that there. Arsenal, best time to get them early on. I think, I feel for Arsenal's fixtures as well. I mean, first 2 away, Old Trafford and Anfield. It doesn't get any easy, harder than that, does it? But I think the way that we look after ourselves tonight, set the tone, show the other teams in the league what we're about, and then just go to Newcastle and just be resolute. I know that we had Allison's pulled off some amazing saves over the years at St James's Park. I think it was Almiron a season or two ago where he tipped it onto the bar. And you talk about journeys and moments. I think that's a moment that I remember in a season that we really helped us to push on. So if we can get these early points in the bag, Newcastle tonight as well against Bournemouth, and then Arsenal the third game. I believe we've got is it Burnley and Everton afterwards as well. So let's get through these tough, first three fixtures now. Set the tone, show the league what we're about. Hopefully, make some more reinforcements, and then go from there. But I just want to say one last thing. I know I mentioned it before. Fair play to the Bournemouth fans tonight. We know that they have got lots of stuff ready for the tribute, so it'd be really nice to see that. So fair play to Bournemouth.
Yeah, fair play to them, and obviously to Chelsea for their donation to Diogo and Andres families. I think it's been quite, rivalries aside. Obviously, it's been great to see that football is coming together and the fans coming together, and I think I think it's been quite difficult for us to process what happened. I mean, for me, it was. I know it was, especially, but yeah, it's obviously. Hopefully, I think we now kind of owe it to Diogo to kind of make him do him proud with our performances, and yeah. Rob, judging on the fixtures that await us after Bournemouth, I feel like for us to kind of go strong and to kind of have the start that we want, I think 7 points out of the first three are mandatory, and I think the easiest out of the three is obviously tonight. So, are you expecting us to start strong, and how do you see the next two fixtures?
Yeah, look, I would agree with the sentiments that Tom said that next week is going to be very hostile. Newcastle, not so much the players, but more so the fans, will hold it against us that we're chasing after the best striker. Like, the reality is that, like, he's arguably the best striker in the league, if not the second best striker in the league. So obviously we're going to want him. I think now, like, when I think back to us playing Newcastle last year, there was a point where McAllister was marking Dan Burn, and that's how we conceded the first goal, or was it the second goal in the cup? Don't want that happening again. If he's in for a corner, or if they have a corner, you want Van Dijk up against him, so that it's not a free header. Arsenal, again, early in the season will be easy to catch. If they're up and running, they might be a bit harder to play against, but they won't really have kicked on just yet. And Gyökeres will only be getting used to the league. So, Van Dijk and Kanate, if they're playing, will obviously be up to marking him out of the game, respectfully. But I'm confident that we could be looking at 7 out of the possible 9 points.
Fair enough. Hassan, obviously, I think the 3 points tonight are, as we've discussed up until now, quite important, especially looking forward as well. How do you see the next two fixtures? Because I've always dreaded St. James's, especially early on, and now even more so.
Yeah, exactly. Last season we played really well against them. Salah what thought was the winner, and the ball flew, and Keller thought that it will go out, and from nowhere Shah came in and it went in. So I think this season it will be more hostile. But I don't seem to understand Newcastle fans that when the Trent saga was going on, we never went for Real Madrid fans or saying that we knew that though that club will do whatever they want to do. We were disappointed in Trent, the way he handled the situation, and it was like he was always like, I want to be the captain of my local team and all these things, and he was eventually made the vice captain, and it was written it was already understood that when Virgil will go and he will be the captain, and it was, but the first chance he got, his mind was made up, and he was like, I was listening to Andy Carroll today, and he was like that when Liverpool came in for the record, he didn't want to go because he was playing for his childhood club, and but he was forced to move. So Newcastle and that was what we wanted from Trent, that he should have stayed here. And for Isak, he said that it's he's not a Geordie, and he every report is coming from reliable journalist is that he said that it would be his last season, and it is due to their own club's inadequacies and incompetency that they are in this situation, that they were going for the players that big clubs want. Why don't they understand their situation and their status up till now? So they should have gone for players like Visa before that, so that they could have gone get them, and players who are like Vahalovic at Juventus, or Kolomoani, who were looking to move on, but they were going for the uh, players that big clubs wanted. So I think it was their strategy. Their fans should be angry with them, but they have their media spin and everything is his agent, Liverpool, and all these things, but not coming back to their own club.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us share that sentiment. I feel like, I was obviously, I think it's tough to have your star player leave. It's obviously an emotional game, so it's not like I expect Newcastle fans not to be upset. But I think that they would also need to look at their club as well, because if before the last few reports came, I was kind of aware of. I was a bit more understanding, but now knowing for a season, entire season, that he's going to play, and planning, he's going to leave. Sorry, and planning this summer the way that you've planned it, I think it's just on them at this point. And yeah, I think that's just the way it is. Obviously, I feel bad for Newcastle fans, but when you look at it, you kind of have to look at your own club as well and kind of hold them accountable too. But it is what it is. With that in mind, we are going to end tonight's live stream here. Thanks a lot to Tom, Rob, and Hassan for being here. Obviously, great to stream you, the gentlemen. And, well, to everyone who tuned in, thanks a lot for being here tonight with us. Make sure to please subscribe, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and, of course, keep in touch, because we're going to keep on streaming 3 times a week, 4 times actually a week. That's the plan, maybe even more so. Obviously, stay close.